Stucco has been around for a long time. Considered a low-maintenance wall surface, with the exception of staining and stress cracks, traditional stucco did not contribute to any major moisture-related problems. Over the last 30 years, different variations of stucco have emerged, and moisture has become a big problem and a major concern to the home inspector. The home inspector must be able to distinguish between old and modern stucco applications and recognize how the problems are not the same. Regardless of age, the moisture barrier and flashing concealed behind the stucco is the key to a moisture-free wall. Unfortunately, the home inspector will not get to see the weather barrier and how it is installed. It's not uncommon for this material to be ripped and torn or sections to be missing altogether. When assessing the condition of stucco, keep in mind the significance of drying potential. Old homes had little insulation in the walls, and that equals good drying potential. Remember, the backside of stucco gets wet. New homes have a lot of insulation in the walls, and that means a low drying potential. An old stucco house should never be evaluated with the same standards as a newer stucco home. Why? Drying potential. On both of these homes, this plastering is called hard coat or traditional stucco. Take a look at this. This is a cutaway of what traditional stucco would look like. Notice the moisture barrier here. Then notice that on this particular application, there's a metal lath that's bonded to the wood framing. Then we put stucco on top of that. The old original traditional stucco had a random finish coat put on it. On wood framing, stucco is typically a 2 to a 3 coat process. The early method of installation was a leaky moisture barrier behind the stucco. Keep in mind that if moisture got into the wood framing, it could dry out. Take a look at another type of traditional stucco. Looks very much the same. The backing is all the same. The only change is we started to use a synthetic finish coat on this. It's typically sprayed on very uniform and consistent. Both the original traditional and the synthetic traditional should be evaluated the same. Since the mid-1980s, as homes became tighter, the addition of sealing the moisture barrier, drip screed flashing, caulking, earthen roof clearances became an important part of keeping moisture and mold out of the wall. Previously a commercial product installed only on masonry structures, we call this soft coat or synthetic stucco. The technical term is EIFS, Exterior Insulation Finish System. Notice how it's installed. It's installed on a rigid foam board insulation. Then we put a little thin coat of the stucco on the top. You can see that this would be able to be pushed in with your finger in order to recognize which it is. And I must tell you, it's critical that you recognize the EIFS system soft coat from the traditional system called hard coat. Okay, once again, this thin layer of stucco was installed on a polystyrene plastic foam insulation without a waterproofing building paper or drainage material. The original EIFS failed horribly. Moisture damage to the wood framing and mold became a huge problem and the subject of large lawsuits and claims. Although exterior insulation finish systems have been redesigned with a moisture barrier and drainage plane, most homeowners and insurers shy away from them because of their history. Home inspectors should not make the final call on this product, no matter how good it may look. The right thing to do is to call for testing and certification by a licensed moisture expert or industrial hygienist.